Being a game developer in 2026 sucks. In 2025, market revenue in the games industry hit roughly $197 billion. And yet in the past 2 years, 1/3 of video game industry workers were laid off. And that's at the larger, more corporate level. Imagine if you're an indie dev trying to make your dream happen while working a dead-end job. Long hours at the computer every day because you're the only teammate you have, the cost of equipment and licenses, and then heck, you finally have something playable, and now you gotta get the dang thing seen. Oh, and you still gotta pay rent. But luckily, there are groups like GUMBO, a game development collective whose mission is to provide a space for game creators to not only work, but collaborate and thrive in both an unforgiving industry and one of the most expensive cities in the world. I was invited to tour this wonderful workspace, talk to the amazing people that keep this place running, all developers in their own right, and learn all about how they're finally making game development sustainable in 2026. And we'll get some early access and first looks at indie games you won't see anywhere else. My name is Noah Waterman for GameRant. This is GUMBO, and it's time to hit the road. All right, we are out of the cold and here at 53 Bridge Street for the home of GUMBO, which stands for Games Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna meet with Yi, who's one of the founding members of this organization, and get a bit of a tour and see what is happening at the heart of the indie scene in Manhattan. So now I am here with Yi, who is kind of been my point of contact for everything so far. Can you explain to people sort of what is GUMBO in and of itself, and like how did this all come together?
GUMBO now, what it is a 501c3. We are the world's largest collective of indie game developers, and we get together to just stay accountable and on top of our projects and making games somewhat sustainable in one of the most expensive cities in the world. And this is GUMBO. This is our space. This is our entryway lounge. I did not tidy up before you guys showed up to just give you the authentic experience. Overall, our model is by devs for devs, and everything you see here is stuff that people have brought in to contribute to the space. We found this on the street, and it's just a highly contentious piece of furniture. Half of us love it, half of us hate it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a giant 500-pound thing. It's one of the things that bothers me the most about the space is the Nerf gun wars that happen and the bullets that end up like lodged weird places in the crevices of my desk.
All right, now I'm here with Jonah, who is the president of the board of GUMBO. Is that correct?
Not really. They're all kind of equal, but people like to stay on the chair just for
here. Okay. So he's already down talking to himself. He's obviously the most important person here, as he said to me specifically.
When I moved to New York about 12 years ago, I realized I did not like working from home, and I was looking for a place outside to go somewhere to work.
You figure that 12 years ago, the rest of us found out in 2020.
Right. Right, I was ahead of the curve there. Find other game devs to, co-work with, and that kind of evolved from, at first it was just like one little office and a green desk nearby, but then friends saw that they kind of liked the idea, so they got the office next door, and then more friends got the office next to that, until we had like almost the whole floor of this green desk.
Cool.
And then at some point, we decided like, hey, let's actually incorporate and form a 501c3 and get a space, and that's how GUMBO formed.
So that all started in 2015, and by 2020 we had taken over basically that whole floor of the building and had also expanded to the 5th floor formally. And then everyone here is a dues paying member. And we have 3 different levels of membership. People who have permanent desks here at $250 a month. We have people who are floating members at $175 a month. And we have like a day pass rate that's $20 per day. We're the cheapest co-working you will ever find in New York.
I was gonna say, that's not
yeah,
bad.
it is like insanely good. And we also have a subsidized floating membership program.
It was very different moving from San Francisco to here. I actually didn't really find the community I was looking for in San Francisco, because there are a lot of game developers there, but a lot of them work at bigger companies. They're big mobile companies and stuff. When I moved to New York, I found a lot of individual creators, people kind of doing their own thing, and that just felt like more my jam. And there was already some communities around that happening, but I think GUMBO has really helped be a major community of individual game developers.
Katya and I run the studio together, and we're married. And one of our dreams, I think, was to do something creative.
No, our dream was to not have day jobs and to make games and to have a good time and to do it ethically and to have it be sustainable and
Real lofty goals across
yeah,
industry.
in New York. Yeah, in New York.
How's that adjustment been moving from kind of just the, small indie team to what is pretty large for independent?
Yeah, we love it. I think we always wanted to work around other game devs. And when we were small, I think everyone's just kind of working alone as a game dev. So in New York City, there's a lot of big need.
Very isolated.
Yeah, it's very isolating, but there's a lot of good groups to find people. And so I think there was just a desire to like work in the same space so you can kind of share the stories or like the frustrations you might have, and also just keeping up with what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, I think it's also, there's a couple of things. So one is the philosophy of indie games, right? So we're not trying to be sort of a big VC-funded product company. We actually, we have a crush on our own work, right?
But in terms of like growing and expanding to some bigger thing, I think a lot of us know just the risks of that kind of thing. Like as soon as you have full-time employees, that's like...
It's like you have to deal with all the things you didn't go to art school for. So spreadsheets galore, tax stuff, things about insurance that are like, oh my God.
So one of our main dreams is for the people down the hall in the corner office to move out so we can knock down another hole and expand our office.
New York,
I know, it's like, I hope the old lady upstairs dies.
I just want to make it a duplex, right?
That is the dream. We've talked to them a few times, like, can we sublet the space? Can we like maybe pay you to move into a different, they love their office. I'm like,
Well, before I let you go back to work, I'm sure you got plenty to work on. Is there anything particular you're working on right now that you can share with us?
So I'm working on this narrative adventure game called Captain Corgi. Corgi going around, talking to animal characters, trading items and stuff. It's, a game that's maybe not super marketable, but it's what I wanted to make, so I get...
It's called Cell to Singularity, and it's an incremental game about the evolution of life. So you start as a amino acid and you go up the tree of life to like a jellyfish, a flatworm, and then eventually you reach human beings, and then you'll tech tree your way through civilization.
And you go into deep space, and it's free on iOS, Android, Steam, and web.
Awesome, great, check it out.
All right, we have made our way all through the subway from Dumbo to Union Square to the Civic Hall. So let's go in and make sure we don't miss anything.
Peter Larson Schmidt. I'm an animator with about 10 years experience in TV and ads, and this is my first video game called Cyberlich and the Death Cult of Labor. It's a small team. It's a 2.5D boomer shooter about, Conan the Barbarian, but instead of going down into a dungeon, you're climbing up a corporate office tower to kill an evil sorcerer who's also your boss and a CEO of a giant company.
What are we playing here? Together we're Heb-Shapen, and we're developing our first game together called Abigail. We had one professor that used to say, like, make a game that only you can make. And I think we're making a game that only we can make in a place that only... this game could only happen in New York, because in part it's about the experience of moving away from home, so like that is a part of it all.
The city of transplants, I got that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Captain Corgi, planetary problem solver is the full name of the game. You can wish it now on Steam, probably coming out later this year, maybe around the summer.
I'm Sean.
Sean, and you're with?
I'm with Unity Games. I'm one of the worker co-owners of the company. Shootlander itself is a love letter to R-Type and Gradius. It's sort of styled in the vein of those old school 2D side-scrolling shoot-em-ups. We mixed a lot of sort of those classic flares of the genre with a couple of sort of like modern kind of conventions, such as a health bar and dodging and having ultimate attacks and things like that. Our main goal was to kind of like treat it as this is how you sort of relearn how to play shmups and without shmups being so intimidating.
What was sort of the original inspiration to take this particular route with it?
Yeah, it was something I started experimenting with because I was terrified I didn't know how to make art for games. And I was like, I'm like scared of pixel art, I don't know what to do. So I started experimenting with felt and pipe cleaners. And the three of us started building dioramas using felt pipe cleaners and clay. And it was really fun to like sit and hang out and watch just like stupid reality TV and like make fun mood boards of how we wanted each of the places to feel. We like made a lot of
perfect traders activity, right? Like, the subject matter is a little bit of catharsis involved in that too. Now, without getting anybody in trouble, is it roughly about one place in particular, or?
You know, I don't think it's about one place. I don't think it's about one place. Let me just leave it there. It's the experience of working in these environments. Part of it in the studio environment as an animator, working on stuff you don't own, that you can't control, is a universal experience, Working in the animation industry where often leads are not animators. Often the animation part is outsourced, but they still call it the Animation Guild in LA. It's complicated, but I don't want to just center myself. I've worked corporate work. A lot of the people on the team have worked corporate jobs where they have been looked over, passed over, had to deal with bosses that were incompetent, assholes, losers, with supervisors who take too much authority. And that's a real frustrating thing, but it's also, it's so frustrating, but it's also kind of a joke. The whole structure is a joke of people that have too little experience, too little knowledge, too little empathy, but too much power. And so we're trying to highlight that absurdism in the game while being real, but also having fun with it. It is a game that is anti-corporate and anti-corporate structure, but it's also a game about eating big burgers and smoking big blunts and blowing up skeletons, so we don't want to miss one for the other. They're both very important to us,
Oh, I think for me, I think the experimental community in New York is like amazing. Like, I think every single month I go to some New York Games event where I'm like in shock that games can do that, whatever somebody is doing.
People are trying new things here that they're not trying elsewhere.
Absolutely, especially in like individual people in really small groups. I don't know, like people making handmade narrative things. But just across the city, there's like these amazing communities of people cropping up that are doing crazy things with audio and visuals and like design itself that like I'm just like in awe of every time I go to any New York City Games event.
That's great.
Very much fits the style you put on display.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad that comes through because I think that's true as well. The form needs to match the function. That's what we say in art. And it was great to meet people that understood culturally, aesthetically, vibe-wise. Like, it just all comes together as a team, as a product, as a experience, So we're really proud of what we made.
I think the games community here is so incredibly beautiful and welcoming in a way I think I would never have expected. And I wish I could tell myself in the past to no, I have been so freaked out on my first day because some of the most beautiful, amazing people and women I've ever met in my life I've met through games. And so I just love this community so much. And I'm so grateful to Dee, who runs Women in Games, because I met some really amazing people in that Discord and just a really beautiful community here. That's my take about it.
So we ended up having to leave, I would say leave a little bit early. That's not true. They ended up not having enough time to get to all the games, which is unfortunate because there were so many awesome games. If this is what the indie scene looks like, not just here, but across the world, then, we're not going to be at a loss for new, unique voices, new, unique ideas, and new, unique games. Again, as always, if you liked this, please subscribe, follow along. We're trying to cover everything in the culture of gaming. So please stay tuned to the GameRant Roadshow and keep it locked in to GameRant.